Good morning to you. It's a Thursday morning. That's right, folks. Happy day after Cinco de Mayo. It's May the 6th. Welcome to Up to the Minute. I'm Todd Duplantis. Good to have you with us on board. We've got your HCC news and information coming up for the next half hour. And the cool part about this is, guess what, folks? The art cars have returned. We're involved with the project. It's been going on for a couple of years, our part of it. We're going to tell you all about it during this show. We got a great show lined up for you. Brittany Pacheco joining us from her home studio. Good morning, Brittany.
Good morning, Todd. I'm actually really excited about today's show because the fact that we're talking art car, we get to see like it up close and personal, well, as safely as possible, of course. But before we get into today's show, I do want to remind everyone to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so you can be the first to find out the latest video uploads from us. Also, to our audience, we need your help to spread this really cool information, specifically today about our art car. And all you need to do is hit that button that says share at the bottom of this podcast so it pops up on your personal newsfeed. And that way we can just let everyone know who, maybe doesn't know that HCC has a Facebook, live podcast every morning. Hey, just saying. So do that. Help us out greatly. And Todd, let's get into today's show.
All right. And what a show it is. We've been talking about the art car, and HCC's got a entry in the art car. It was supposed to be designed like 2 years ago. They started working on this. Everything was put on hold in 2020 because of something called COVID. You were very familiar with that. And today we're highlighting our efforts. Today is Virtual Family Fun Day. We're spotlighting Houston's iconic art car experience, as it's called this year, and HCC's contribution to it. These faculty members are all part of HCC's district-wide collaboration of creativity and science. All right, on the show, we've got Dr. Colleen Reilly on here. She is the Dean of the Visual and Performing Arts Center of Excellence. Good morning, Dr. Reilly. How are you? You there? Oh, having
just a little mic issue. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. I know you're very excited to see this thing come to fruition. It seems like it's been in the plans or in the works for quite a while.
This has been a 3-year project with students, faculty, staff, instructional leaders. We had some iterations in 2019 with some bicycles that won our category. So we've been scaling up to the ambulance. We're super excited.
So we're glad you're joining us. We're going to ask you to stand by. Jordan Carswell is also on. You remember him as well. He's been on the show several times. He's going to join us in a few moments. Right now, he's running camera over at the Wesh Houston Institute. And we've got, so Jordan's behind the camera. In front of the camera is Garza, the manager of IdeaStudio, and also Jeffrey Chen, Makerspace Technician at IdeaStudio. Good morning, gents. How are y'all?
Good morning, Todd. Good morning, everybody. How are you?
It's good to see you both. We're doing great. Good to see the art car right behind you. Of course, it's I guess an ambulance it started as, and now it's something that's turned into a little bit. Why don't you, we'll start with you, Israel, and we're going to ask you about the hands-on work at the Makerspace, but what's the connection between creativity and STEM regarding this project?
Well, thank you for asking that. So we've had this ambulance in our work bay here for over a year. We're at the IdeaStudio at the West Houston Institute. And so this is a perfect sort of place to house this sort of project. So this ambulance is being converted into an art car. And so our space has all the different sorts of tools that can do that sort of thing. Now, Houston Community College has a wide variety of disciplines and areas that can do these sorts of things, but our space is specifically suited for most any kind of project that you could think of. We have a full wood shop, we have a full metal shop, but we also have all the technology that's innovative and that's currently being used right now with emerging companies. And so we have 3D printing and laser cutting and vinyl cutting and a whole textile area. And so all of those technologies have been used in this space. And so I wanted to talk about just a couple of those things where the professor that was over this, Ashley Hope, would come to us as our staff. Now, the creativity part of it was done by the students, right? So the entire design of this was student-led with Ashley's guidance and leadership. However, some of these things, the manufacturing of these things were a little more deep in terms of the technical skill that you needed. So she asked our staff, she got the collaboration of our staff. And so the experiences of myself and Jeffrey and Bianca and Jordan, we all have a variety of skills. And so it took all of those in order to be able to come to the full completion of this ambulance. And so I want to talk about a couple of those.
Yeah. Show us some parts of the ambulance.
Yeah, so real quickly on the outset is you can see that this is a very colorful sort of ambulance. It's like you can see these painted flames and these painted water waves. Well, this isn't actually just painted. So these are actually sheets of plate aluminum that have been cut and welded. So Bianca Bermudez, one of our other technicians, she cut and welded these things to the side panels, and they're on both sides. And she was given specific direction as to what the shape, and it was sketched, but she hand plasma cut all that and then welded it to the ambulance body itself. And that's just one of the many things that she and the rest of us contributed to in order to be able to realize the creative, ideas that Ashley and her students were trying to get across. So I'd like to cover a couple of other things here on the outside short. If you can look up here at the top, there is a tree with the HCC eagle I don't know if he's coming in for a landing or if he's going off to fly into the wild blue yonder. But this was completely fabricated by Ashley and her students, and the eagle was 3D printed in our space. But the tree itself actually rotates. So Jeffrey, can you get the switch on that to see if we can get it to rotate? So you can see where Jeffrey's kind of grabbing it. You see that it's rotating. And so the entire mechanism for the rotating process, Jeffrey designed and fabricated. So if you can take a look at Jeffrey and see what he's holding. He's holding an inch block of plywood, not block of plywood, but of solid wood that he used our laser cutter in order to cut out the gear that turns this tree. And so, of course, he helped with the mounting of the motor and the designing of the gear ratio in order to make it turn properly. And so his expertise with electronics and the mechanics of it, he is a mechanical engineer, as is Bianca. They were able to make this work exactly perfectly. And so even the enclosure to mount this is 3D printed. So it was custom made. The switch itself, Jeffrey wired up all of the electronics for that and ran all the wiring. And so it's the things the skills that it took in order to do this, we teach our members who come into the space how to do that. But with the time constraints and with the resources that Ashley has with this project, it was just better and easier to utilize the staff. And that's kind of what we do here with our staff, with any member that comes into the space.
Israel, let me jump in real fast. I want to ask Jeffrey a question. Jeffrey, when you design that from start to finish, to designing it, all the work you spend on it, how long does it take from designing it from on paper, on computer, however you do it, to actually installing it, getting all the materials together and getting it on that ambulance? How many hours do you think you spent on that?
I'd probably say it took probably about a week. Just designing the gear in CAD, making sure it spins like at the right RPM, and finding the right material. I actually just had that block of wood, the solid block of wood laying around. So she just gave it to me and I just played with it and cut out the gear. And I guess mounting the tree itself took a little bit longer because we had to find the right type of bearings so that it would spin correctly. And it's just waiting on the rest of the students to make sure everything's properly in place before we can install the tree.
Incredible work you've done there. Congratulations on that. Israel, why don't you show us on the inside of the ambulance?
Yeah, so if you can take a look, the inside of the ambulance is supposed to be a brain. And so we'll get to some of the lighting and what the stuff is here, but right here, as you walk in on the passenger side, there's these little dioramas. They're called memory dioramas. Now, I'm not going to try to go into the explanation of the artistic concept between these, but we assisted with the fabrication of all these. So each one of these is a specific location and a specific idea. And so most of the components, several of the components in each one of these, our staff assisted with the fabrication of it. So like if we look at this middle one here, we can see that this is kind of an office this is an office setting. And so there's several components in here. And so you can see like the lights that are up here on the ceiling. Just yesterday, Jeffrey designed and 3D printed these little covers that are diffuse covers, custom, so that they can be, and they'll be mounted right here, so that they can give more of an office-like environment. The desks were printed from somewhere online. The chairs themselves were designed and printed in-house. We drew them in CAD, and we printed them here in our space. Even the cubicle walls themselves, we designed and laser cut and cut them on our CNC mill. So there was a lot of different components. Even the box that this is in itself, these wood boxes were cut and measured and cut out on our CNC mill perfectly to the perfect dimensions, make an exact fit. And so this sort of customization is the kind of things that you can achieve with a space like this. And so in each one of these, the 3D printed tables or the even just printing out the paper, there's a lot of components that we were able to do in this sort of space that we don't have to go to different campuses because we have all the variety of tools in the space. And again, I hate to keep plugging myself, but we teach our members how to do this sort of project.
I asked you about that, Israel. You mentioned members. Are students who go to HCC allowed to book time in the Makerspace? Do they come with you with an idea? How does that work if a student says, you know what, I've got something I need fabricated and I've got a design? Do they come to you? They schedule a time? How does that work?
That's a great question. So a lot of the people that come into our space are going to be students, but any student, faculty, and staff can come into the space. But when someone has a specific project, if they can do it on their own, they can come in and work on the work tables by themselves. But if they have a design question or if they have a fabrication issue that they're getting stuck on, our staff can make an appointment with them and they can come in and they can consult with us, and we can even assist with them on how to create that project. Several times I've had some student or a staff member or faculty come in and say, I would like to make this thing and this is how I want to do it, when there is an easier, faster, and a better way to do that. Yeah. So that's kind of what we do, is consult them on their fabrication process.
Israel, we've got about 30 seconds left. Can you show us the top of the ambulance so we can see the brain area and the lighting? I know you.
Yeah, so if we can come in here real quickly. So you can kind of see real quick that there are these lights that are running all over the place. And this is another electronics project that we used a Raspberry Pi. We created the Arduino board and printed the enclosure and ran the lights. And so this was all done in-house. The code was done. So yeah, it's another one of those projects that are several that are on this ambulance that we assisted with on the art car. So we're very, very happy to be a part of that.
Very happy, and should be very proud. Some incredible work you guys have done there. And I know it was a team effort. You've got a lot of people involved. And Israel, we thank you and Jeffrey for showing us a bit of the ambulance that's going to be out there at the Art Car Experience. We're going to check inside of the building, virtually, of course, and check in with Dr. Colleen Reilly. She's the Dean of Visual and Performing Arts Center of Excellence. And Jordan Carswell, he's running camera right now, but he's going to run inside and join us in just a moment. Dr. Reilly, I want to ask you about this collaboration. You just look at everything that was done on this ambulance, and it was, as you mentioned at the top of the show, this is a 3-year effort getting to this point. And as Israel was saying, they're still creating pieces for it, little bits, pieces here and there. Did you envision it to take, well, obviously COVID was thrown in there, but did you envision it anything like it's turned into now?
I don't think it's possible for one person to have envisioned what it's become. And I have to admit, I'm a little moved seeing it up close like this here today. This really came out of thinking by our Vice Chancellor for Planning and Institutional Effectiveness, Dr. Ewan, who had Ashley into the West Houston Institute as a resident artist and opened the space for all of this collaboration to begin. Ashley and I came to the Center of Excellence Deans, and we, said we were working on an art car project, and we invited their collaboration, and public safety produced an ambulance for us to work on, automotive, and Dean Vogel has been absolutely incredible throughout this process in supporting us in getting the ambulance road ready and just sort of navigating all all of our automotive questions. We have a great team from the Visual and Performing Arts, from our drama theater production staff, from our media staff with Donna Pinnock, from our visual arts staff. It's been, created a really strong sense of community. We've brought students in, we've brought staff in, we've brought West Houston Institute innovation team in. I mean, it's just anyone who wanted a place to be in this project was welcomed. It's just been incredible what the students have been able to accomplish. I'm very proud.
It's a true example of working together, bringing in everything from art to science, mechanical engineering, everything is brought into this, and some great stuff. I want to bring Jordan to the conversation. He was running camera in the last segment. Jordan, you're out at the West Houston Institute, and it's an incubator for interdisciplinary and extracurricular activity. And I guess, once again, this is an example of that too.
Yeah, this has been just a premier example of that. And we've had the privilege of having it in the space since we opened, right? I mean, we really opened up for students in the fall of 2018, and Ashley and her students were among the first to begin to really take advantage of this project. And I think it speaks to, especially now as we kind of begin to look at what the new normal looks like for education and every other aspect of society, that really, students were moving towards a world where they want a couple of different things, either skills that can kind of practically get them, positioned where they want to be in the work world or in a particular field. But then I think the other part of it is that beyond courses and programs is that they want experiences that help connect them to the world where they are as they're learning, and then where they're headed and what they want to be. And I think one of the best things about having the art car experience at West Houston Institute during these first formative years was that Ashley, as an artist, is a practitioner, and the studio model of education, I think, is something that we've really understood better and embraced as really something that could be, applied to a lot of different areas. And it really helps in terms of bringing together interdisciplinary sorts of people from different disciplines around a common project. And so we're really excited about the results of this, and thrilled, for Ashley and the students, and, all of us that have been involved in it. And then now looking forward to seeing what's next.
Yeah. It's hard. It's going to be hard to top this one, but I know eventually we will again. Dr. Reilly, people may be watching now and they said, okay, this is great. It's a wonderful vehicle, and we can tell the students work real hard for us. But out here in Houston, what does it mean to me? Well, we're teaching our students project-based learning. Maybe you can talk about why that's so important for going into the workforce.
Yeah, I think that the sense of ownership that the students were able to take on each element of the design and fabrication are skills that they'll take into the workforce. But I also think that thematically, the name of this project is Terra Firma. And when you reflect on the number of traumas that our students have experienced over the past few years, starting with Hurricane Harvey and coming through the pandemic and our winter storm event. There's just been a series of really significant challenges presented to the students, and many of the students came through all of those in with HCC and through our experience at the West Houston Institute. So I think the resilience that it points to, and the sort of living what is possible when you're in a supported environment is just as important as the skill sets that they're learning in having an idea, bringing it into iteration, improving upon it, and then taking it into the world.
Jordan, let's talk about those 21st century skill sets that our students need. And particularly, what alternatives do we offer them outside of just going through semesterly instruction?
And so one of the exciting things I think right now about being a part of a community college is that we're beginning to explore how, just what Colleen said, that it's more than just skills. There's also, you've got to have an experience that really a community experience, that it gives students an opportunity to come in because they're interested in something, and then work through, a process facilitated by faculty and staff and other experts, to learn something new and then understand how to apply it in the world. And so I think one of the cool things that we're about to see at Houston Community College is the introduction of digital badges and micro-credentials. Mm-hmm. And what this is going to allow us to do is really look laterally across the institution and award students, or recognize their achievements around things that typically we may pat them on the back or say good job, but we don't have a way to recognize that in a formal way. And so we're talking about like creativity and innovation, problem solving, teamwork, empathy, the ability to have like the emotional intelligence to be able to understand and work with others, adaptiveness and responsiveness. And so all of these kinds of skills that we know turn up in the top list, from places like LinkedIn and Burning Glass and different kinds of resume sites, Indeed. But we haven't really had a way to formally credential them, and I think we're about to get there. And we're working with LinkedIn on some pathways, as well in terms of where those end up, and they'll, I think, even end up on the transcript in the near future. And so we're just at the beginning of that. We have some programs that we run. Ideas Academy is one at West Houston Institute. The LSAMP program, which has communities of experience and scholars and research through, that's a grant program that we have run by Jeff Steer. And of course, Colleen can speak to this probably more than all of us, because in the arts, they have all kinds of ways that students participate outside of their classroom time and learn all kinds of valuable skills. But I think there's some really good stuff coming, and it will be a way for us to recognize a lot of the things we're already doing in a more formal way to help students get connected, to where they want to go next.
Dr. Reilly, last question, and we're running out of time, but I wanted to ask you, because I think it's real important. You get trained in the creative arts, maybe you get degreed in that field, but your skills can translate across several industries and many industries. And maybe you can talk about how you're training your students about the relationship between design thinking and creative arts and going into those other industries. Maybe briefly you could tell us about that.
Well, I think this connects to what Jordan was talking about in terms of the micro credentials and the badging. That's an indication of a credential outside of the student, but it also indicates to the student what to name what they're doing. So, training in the arts is training in collaboration. It's training in problem solving. It's training in creating community. It's training in empathetic listening and kinesthetic empathy, and all of these ways of being in the world. And being able to go through that in an educational environment means that we can help our students articulate that those are the skills that they have and that they've practiced. And these are the avenues that they've been able to exercise those skills in. And that really gives them a leg up with employers because they're able to communicate about the value that they bring to the workplace and to the community and to the world.
Absolutely. Dr. Colleen Reilly, Dean of Visual and Performing Arts Center of Excellence, and Jordan Carswell, Interim Director of West Houston Institute. Thank you both for joining me. I know you're very excited about this weekend, and congratulations on this project.
Thank you. Thank you. And congratulations to the students and to Dr. Hope. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Good luck this weekend. We'll talk to y'all soon.
All right.
We're going to move on to our HCC news and announcement. And we've got a big announcement today because you know what, folks? It's Thursday, May the 6th. That means tonight, Fashion Fusion gets underway, Brittany.
Yes, that's right. And it's going virtual. So it's back this year. And HCC and the Museum of Fine Arts Houston's Fashion Fusion with designs inspired by 4 categories will be premiering tonight. Dealing with those 4 categories, let me first clarify: antiquities, Renaissance, Baroque, and modernism. So that's going on once again tonight, May 6th at 7 p.m. You can check out the live stream at mfah.org, or we're actually going to be having it here on our live stream here on Facebook. So that's going to be exciting. Tune in once again tonight at 7 p.m.
There you go. Can you say Baroque again?
Baroque.
There you go. All right, there you go. We're going to continue on with promotion of the arts. Mesa Arts Showcase, HCC's Musical Entertainment Student Association, known as MESA, is showcasing some of Houston's finest artists who have auditioned for this opportunity to perform and stream on social media. That happens tomorrow night, Friday, May the 7th. Check the events calendar on the district website for links. And if you have questions, we'll have an email address in the social media post for the show. More art announcements, Brittany, the Gallery Without Walls.
And this is a student non-juried exhibition. So the 6 HCC campus art galleries are still closed, but that doesn't stop our students, our student artists rather, from showing what they've created this semester. Instagram, once again, will be their gallery for the non-juried exhibition featuring studio classes from all colleges in the HCC system. Now that's going on Monday, May 10th. You can check out that Instagram. We'll put that handle in the post after the show. So no registration is required. And we'll put the email for the contact info in case you guys are interested.
Okay, are you looking for a job? Maybe you've lost your job because of COVID. Maybe you had your hours cut. And we all need to make a suitable living to get by, and you need more hours, or you want to get a new opportunity to make more money. Well, HCC can help with these programs. We can get you in short-term training, certifications, in some cases, associate degrees, and you can get your college tuition paid for. These are short-term training classes. A lot of times they're 6 months or less. You get the certification, and they help you find a job. It's a great deal. It's fast track training for free. We have a list of programs that are available, several of them, from welding to the medical field, cybersecurity. That's a hot one as well. You go to one website, hccs.edu/fast-track. We'll have the link in this post. But the main thing about it is, you sign up for these courses. This is a no-brainer. You sign up for the courses. We have grants that we will allow you to get funding from, and you can get your college tuition paid for. Sign up today. We'll have the link in this post. Adult Ed also has some programs to help people get on with their careers as well, Brittany.
Exactly. It goes hand in hand with this fast track opportunity that we have. So if you're struggling to find work because you lack the right training, HCC's adult education program can help you get the skills you need. So for more information, we are going to include the link in our post after this show, but be sure to look out for the graphic #MoveAhead with Adult Ed for more information.
Another great program, Path to Profession, like the traditional work study program. We've talked about that a lot over the last week here on HCCTV. But this program provides students with job opportunities in their field by securing positions with community businesses, partners with the college, allowing them to earn money and gain real world experience. Think of paid internships, very similar to that. For a link to sign up for this program, students, get on board with it. It's hccs/path2profession. We'll have the link in the social media post. One thing to remember, Brittany, the registration for the summer and the fall, that's going on right now. And those classes are filling up, so you need to register today.
They are, especially if you want to attend the small face-to-face classes that will be offered for summer and for fall. So registering is crucial. Obviously, registering early is even more crucial. That's what I want to say. We do have 5 course options available. As I said, we will be offering face-to-face along with our other modalities. Sorry, I spaced on that word. Online anytime, online on a schedule, our hybrid lab, and our hybrid courses, which are basically our lectures that are offered on campus and virtually. So you have that choice. So once again, to secure your classes early, you need to register now just to secure them. For information on our HCC programs and to register, go to hccs.edu/now.
So we're running out of time, but we want to let you know we'll return tomorrow. You're not here, Frank's back, but we do have a special guest tomorrow. Backstage OL, they do movie reviews, entertainment news. Dave Morales is joining us from Backstage OL. You may recognize him from the radio. We've got a new partnership with him on HCCTV. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. Dave will be reviewing some movies and talking about interviews he did with Billy Crystal and Josh Duhamel as well. All that and more tomorrow and Up to the Minute. Brittany, I guess we'll see you next week.
See you next week, Todd.
All right. See all of you tomorrow, 10 a.m. live right here on Up to the Minute.